goal for this entire presentation is twofold. So one, I just want to share 3 user onboarding tracks that you can use in your own business to help you improve your free user to paid customer conversion rate. And the next part of this is I just want to give you all the resources you need to do a lot of this stuff on your own. So at the very end of this presentation, I am going to give you a stockpile of emails and resources that you can use to apply everything to your own business. And so just a little intro for myself and who I am. My name is Wes Bush, and so I'm actually the host of the Product-Led Summit, and I run a business called Traffic is Currency, which we only focus on 2 problems. We help people launch and then optimize product-led engines. And so the biggest part of this all is just understanding how you can turn those users into paying customers. And so you probably might have seen some of my work featured in some pretty cool places, hopefully because it was good. And so I would love to tell you, okay, this is what makes the difference, and it's because I've done a lot of things right. But if I'm being completely honest with you, especially when it comes to user onboarding, I am only here to share with you a lot of these things because I've got a lot of the stuff done wrong and I made a lot of mistakes. And so my hope in doing this presentation is to really just give you the shortcut, the quick way, the cheat, and the hack, short code, so that you can do this stuff the easy way in your own business, because I made a lot of the stupid mistakes that hopefully you don't have to make in your own business. And so if you want the easy way to convert users into customers while you sleep, and if you answer yes to this question, you're in the right place and in for a treat whenever it comes to this presentation. And so in the past year, just to give you some context of the results I've seen applying the same stuff I'm going to share with you in this presentation, I've actually been able to help a SaaS business improve their free trial to paid conversion rate by over 50%. And so while I do say this, I will make a special note that these results aren't typical. This is my business. I have been doing this for well over 5 years now whenever it comes to SaaS marketing. And so although everything you can learn in this presentation will be immediately relevant and helpful, I just don't want to promise you the world and get a little disclaimer so that you come back and sue me or something. Who knows? So whenever we're talking about typical, I like to just ask you, what do you think the typical user onboarding track looks like? Now think about it. If we look at a lot of these typical user onboarding themes, these might kind of stick out to you as being pretty normal. In terms of a lot of user onboarding isn't outcome driven. And so what I mean by that is as soon as someone signs up for your product, are you taking them for the tour of the world where you're showing them all the features and all the amazing things you can do in your product? Or are you showing them how they can get to a specific outcome or quick win in the product? And so that's what I mean about not being outcome driven. And I would argue a lot of people and a lot of businesses are just not outcome driven. And so the next part is just understanding that a lot of user onboarding is 100% time based. And so what I mean by that is, are all your user onboarding emails sent out at the same day throughout your entire trial? Yes or no? And most people have that experience where it's 100% time-based, 100% one size fits all. And so the 3 onboarding tracks I'm going to share with you today are the exact opposite of this. They are 100% outcome driven. They tie what you've done into the product and meet you where you are in your user journey. And it's not all time-based. It's actually trigger-based for the most part. And it is the farthest thing from one size fits all. But with that being said, there is only 3 onboarding tracks that you have to worry about. So the first one is what I call the Quickwin onboarding track. And so in the Quickwin onboarding track, what's really great about this is your entire onboarding experience up until the beginning is so focused on you getting to that quick win in the product. And so for a company like Drift or Hotjar or Crazy Egg, this could be, okay, let's get someone to put a piece of JavaScript on their website so they can start seeing the value of the product immediately. And then the next part of this would be the PQL track. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I'm not too sure what the product qualified lead thing is, that's okay. I will dive much deeper into what it is later on. And the next part of this is just the onboarding track 3 for converting the free users into paying customers, which hopefully that is why you're here. And so what I'm going to dive into right now is just the first onboarding track. And so this one, just a little disclaimer, is the most important one out of all of them. And that is because if you can't get people to experience a quick win in the product, it becomes so much harder for you to actually sell people on why your product is important in the first place. It's much like having your salesperson be the person selling the product versus the salesperson being the person using your product. They're convincing themselves why they need to buy it because they already experienced the value proposition themselves. And so this is really important to understand. And so before we dive into just what that user onboarding track looks like, I have questions for you to answer. And so if you have a pen or a piece of paper, I want you to start answering what these are. And so first question for you is, why do people sign up for your product? And so if you answer that, just let me know what it is in the comments below. And what I want you to really think about while you're answering those questions is that value doesn't actually come from your product. As odd as that might sound, value comes from what your product enables people to do after they've used your product. And so although we can create the best onboarding experience ever, if we don't help people experience the final key outcome that our product helps people use, everyone will think our product sucks, which is a really sad part. And so we always need to be conscious of what is that final outcome in our product that we help people do. And so my next question for you is, what does your product enable people to do? Now, the first time I asked a bunch of SaaS founders, like, what does your product do? What is the main benefit? Everyone was just like, yes, Wes, we know what this is. This isn't our first time selling a product. And it was a little surprising. Everyone thought they knew what it is that the product enabled people to do. And so I call bullshit every time someone understands what this question is and how to answer it, because there often is a much deeper layer to this than initially meets the eye. And so most people understand the functional job of what your product enables people to do. If you have a software that helps you create business dashboards, you immediately think people buy us because they want to build business dashboards. And to a certain degree, you're not wrong. But there's also social and emotional jobs that your product helps people do. For instance, whenever I have a great week, I get to show to my boss the weekly report that shows that I'm hitting my KPIs and I'm doing a really good job. Or maybe it's more of a social job where the business dashboard makes them look really good because they are helping the business become more data-driven. And so whenever you're selling a product, please understand what it enables people to do on the functional, the social, and the emotional levels. And now if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, Wes, I'm not too sure how to actually do that, that's okay. And my response to you is, please do customer research. Now, I absolutely hate when people will just say, oh, just do customer research, solve all your problems. And it will, to a certain degree. Understanding the why behind why people do certain things is really important. But how? How do you do it? And so because I was so frustrated with people just saying, oh, just do customer research, you'll understand it, I created a free course that you can take. Just go to doubleyourtrials.com and it will show you how to understand why people buy your product. And so if you're not 100% sure, go to this URL. It'll be a free course, and you will learn how to do this stuff on your own, or you can just get someone on your team to sign up for you. And so in the first onboarding track, to really emphasize one thing is we just want to get people to that quick win so that they have a reason to come back to the product. And why that's important is because we're looking at a very grim stat here. And this is 40 to 60% of people who sign up for your product will never come back again. And so that is really sobering, because that's a lot of people. That's like letting half your marketing budget on fire because people just don't want to come back to your product. Now, most people, the even funnier thing is they don't know 40 to 60% of people only come, sign up for the product, and never come back ever again. And so that's another issue for another time. But what we want to make sure that we get right in the user onboarding track 1 is that we get the right quick win for the people, make it easier for them to experience so that they have a good reason to come back to the product again. And so what this track looks like from a email onboarding perspective is you have 2 types of emails. And so as soon as someone signs up to the product, boom, we fire off a welcome email that says, welcome to the product, and here's a few resources that might help you get started. And maybe ask them a question like, why did you sign up for the product? What are you hoping to accomplish from the product? And then we send them usage tip emails. And so usage tip emails are really important because they help people understand how to use your product to a higher level and understand and realize that benefit of what your product enables them to do that they couldn't do before without your product. And so the great part about user onboarding track 1 is that it is entirely trigger based. So let's say we have a friend, Tom, who signs up for our product and he's a power user. In his first session, he does all the things. He gets to that first quick win check mark. Okay, Tom, we sent him the welcome email, but we do not send him any of the usage tips because he's already done all those items. And so user onboarding track 1 can be really, really quick. You might not even send any emails with the exception of the welcome email to some people, but you have to have it for the people that just sign up and then they don't actually use the product. And so it's really built for a lot of those people to make sure that they do experience the quick win in the product on their own terms. And so in email onboarding track 1, we just have 2 emails. And so if you're wondering, like, what should I include in these emails? I will be sharing a resource at the very end of this presentation that will give you all templated emails that you can use, plug and play, put them into your business and use them on your own terms. And so for onboarding track number 2, what we're really focusing on here is what's known as the product qualified lead. And now if you're sitting there thinking, Wes, what the heck is a product qualified lead? That's okay, I'll explain. So a product qualified lead is really just a tool that helps us identify users who have experienced the product's core value and are most likely to convert as customers. So if you're reading this, you might think, that's not too different than a marketing qualified lead. Now, that is true in terms of the framework and how you use it, in terms of multidisciplinary teams and how sales and marketing each have a stake in terms of deciding what a marketing qualified lead is. You're completely right. There is a ton of similarities. The biggest differentiator between a marketing qualified lead and a product qualified lead is that a product qualified lead, or PQL, really just focuses in on the product and how the product qualifies people. Whereas a marketing qualified lead, it could be a white paper, it could be someone visiting a web page where you give them some points, and then once they hit a certain threshold, they wind up talking to sales. And so it's pretty random whenever it's going to a marketing qualified lead. Whereas a product qualified lead is someone who's actively using your product, experiencing the value. And so what you'll find is that product qualified leads convert at much, much higher rates than marketing qualified leads. And so I'll give you a few different examples just to give you some ideas of how this could look like in your business. So for Slack, I'll use it since a lot of people understand it, Slack is a messaging tool that you can use in your workplace. And so one product qualified lead definition they have internally is someone who hits 10,000 messages in their tool. And the reason they use a product qualified lead definition of 10,000 messages is because once someone gets to that point, they typically understand the value of the product. They most likely have quite a few people onboarded and using the tool. And depending on how quickly people get to that threshold limit of 10,000 messages, then they can allot, okay, this is a much, much more high quality product qualified lead than the other one that might have took 6 months to get to that 10,000 limit threshold. And so that is a way that Slack has really built their business around understanding, okay, how can we make sure that by the time we actually reach out to these people, we know for a matter of fact that these people understand the value of the product. Whereas for Drift, I know this is a little dated, but 2 years ago when I was talking to their VP of marketing, this is their product qualified lead definition. It was when they got to 100 messages whenever a user signed up for their product, which is a live chat software solution. As soon as someone had 100 messages with prospects on their website, they had identified that those people were really likely to convert. Whenever sales called them up, they could close them in a 20 to 30% rate. And so that was just bonkers. I mean, especially compared to the typical marketing qualified lead route, which has a really awful conversion rate. And so when we're looking at Crazy Egg, another heat map solution, and they do user recordings as well. So for them, it could be something like someone going in and seeing the user recordings of people actually using their free trial and seeing what they're doing, maybe what they're not doing, or where they are getting stuck up on the sign-up experience. And so in these experiences, what we're really looking for whenever it comes to the PQL definition is we want to understand just, okay, where are those moments in our product where people have experienced that core value? Because everything we're doing in onboarding track 3 is really just trying to get more product qualified leads. And so the whole model here is really based off Nir Eyal and his book Hooked. Now, this is one of the reasons why I had to have Nir speak at the Product Led Summit. And what I'm going to share with you is his habit loop model, which is a really simple way to build habit loops in your product so that people keep coming back and using your product over and over. And so what I'm going to share here is an example of Twitter and how Twitter strategically uses the habit loop to get you to come back to your product over and over again. So for a trigger, there's many types of triggers. There's internal triggers, like when we think of in our head, or there's external triggers, such as we send them an email notification or maybe a push notification on mobile. And so triggers we can control for the most part if they're external triggers. And so for Twitter, let's say they send us a mobile notification that says you have someone favorited your tweet. And so that's the trigger. We see the notification, we click it, that's the action we took. And the reward is that little rush when we see, oh my gosh, my friend Camille liked my tweet. And then after reading some other tweets, we decide, let's actually invest more time. Let's create another tweet. I want to share something else with my friends. And so what happens again is as soon as someone likes or comments on that tweet that we just posted, there's another trigger, which is an action, leads to a reward and another investment. And so you can see how habit loops have a really powerful way of getting us to come back to the product, invest more time in making it more valuable for us, and the habit loop repeats again and again. And so track 2 looks a little overwhelming at first, but there's really only 2 emails here. So as soon as someone hits a quick win, we can send them a usage review, which is essentially an email that showcases the value of the product. So Zendesk does a fantastic job doing this, where they will show you the amount of time that you have reduced in terms of reaching out and responding to customer tickets. And so they use this as a usage review to really showcase just how their product helps you become more efficient and effective at responding to customer tickets. And then triggers are really just thinking about, okay, what are those items that we could use to get people to come back to the product so they can take an action, leads to a reward, and an additional investment in the product. And so the goal here is to make sure that we churn out more product qualified leads and people who actually understand the value of the product, use it more than once, and are really fine-tuned to become a converted customer. And so whatever your product qualified lead definition is, I'll leave that up to you to fill into the onboarding track. But in here, we just have 2 emails. And so at the end of this presentation, I will actually give you a few really great examples of the emails you can use that are templated for your own business. And so the last part of this is just onboarding track 3, which is the fun part, in my opinion, and how we can start converting these free users into paying customers. And so the first 2 onboarding tracks, this was not an accident, by the way, had nothing to do with generating revenue or sending any salesy emails. It was just trying to get people to use the product and experience the value on their own. And that is totally intentional, because if we focus on getting people to use the product and experience the value on their own terms, they become our best sales advocates. And once we get to this point, it's not a hard sell. We're just trying to help them experience more of the ongoing value that our product offers. And so one of the quotes that I really loved was from Lincoln Murphy, who's a customer success expert. And he said it better than I could say it. So I'm just going to copy his quote verbatim. But what he basically stated is that the most logical step, once you experience value in the product, is actually to become a paying customer. And so it's a win-win scenario. The quicker we help people experience the meaningful outcome that our product can help people attain, the quicker we can help people actually become a converted customer. And so it's a win-win scenario. Now, onboarding track number 3 looks a little hectic. Now, there is a lot of emails, but it starts off as soon as someone becomes a product qualified lead. So as soon as that happens, we can send them a trigger-based email that goes out to the user and could be along the lines of, hey, we just saw that you got to your 10,000 message limit. Here are a few more ways that you get more value out of our current solution. And so in that case, the sales outreach isn't a hard sell. It's just saying, hey, we realized you got to a certain threshold in the product. We'd like to help you get more value out of it. You maybe want to schedule a consultation so we can help you get more value out of your product. And so in that way, it's not salesy, but it's really just trying to help people get more value out of your product, which is great. And the next part could be a time-based email or trigger-based email, depending on how you want to structure it. But case study emails are really powerful to do one thing. Now, most people don't understand how to use case study emails, but I'm going to tell you a really quick way. So let's say your customers struggle with paying the price of your product because it's just way too expensive. Well, here's a little hack. So what you're going to do is you're going to find a case study or maybe testimonial that talks about how incredibly valuable your product is. And you're going to use that testimonial and case study to your advantage. You are just going to make sure that that case study crushes your price objections and has a CTA to get people to actually upgrade. And so in that way, you are strategically crushing your objections to really make sure that people have no other reason than to upgrade for your product whenever it comes time for them to upgrade. And now the next 2 emails are all about the better life. So this is all about selling people on the benefits of your product. And so it's pretty straightforward here. You just want to make sure, the only caveat here is that you don't get too in the weeds and focus on the features and all the nitty-gritty of that kind of thing. You want to focus on what is that final key outcome that people can experience, and just remind them, like, this is the value of signing up for the product, CTA, getting to sign up as a customer. And so as any given point in track 3, if someone signs up to become a customer, get them off the track. You immediately get them out of all of these emails. And so the way you can structure it at the very end is you can have a trial expiry email. If you have a free trial, that will just go at a specific time, usually at the last 3 days, especially if you have an opt-out free trial. So if you have a free trial where you require people to sign up initially with a credit card, please give them at least 3 days to cancel their account if they're not interested or upgrade, because you want to make sure that you give them enough time and actually remind them that they do have to cancel their account if they don't want to get billed. And so that is a must-have, especially if you have a credit card on your free trial. And so let's say people don't actually sign up for your product, which it's usually going to be the bigger percentage of everyone who signs up for your product. So there's 2 things you can do. There is the free trial extension. So there's lots of ways you can structure this. I've seen ProdPad. Oh yes, shout out to Jana who did an incredible job. You should check out her presentation in this playlist. But what they've been able to do is gamify their trial extension so that if you add a couple users to the product, well, you can get an additional 5 days. Or if you add, let's say in their case, a specific project or do something that gets you closer to experiencing more value in the product, well, they'll give you 7 days. And so you can make it really fun and gamify the whole experience, or you could just flat out say, if you need more time, we'll let you extend it by 7 days. Click this link and make it super easy for people to do that. And then that doesn't work, people are just a lost cause, which is usually not the case. You can send them a post-trial survey, which just states, here are some of the reasons of why you actually didn't upgrade. And you can get really specific with these ones. And whether it's the price or it was too complicated, you can always tie these to specific campaigns. And so in the resource I'm going to share with you at the end, Autopilot Headquarters has done a fantastic job structuring their post-trial survey. So for instance, if you have a price objection, someone says, I didn't buy your product because it was too expensive, offer them a discount. If they said it was too complicated, I just couldn't understand how to use your product, offer them a free consultation to actually go through the product with a sales engineer and see for themselves how they can use it. And so in track 3, there's a ton of emails, but I'm going to be sharing that resource with you at the end so you can use those emails in your own business. And so for the conclusion here, there's really only 3 secret onboarding tracks. They all work together so that you don't have this one-size-fits-all onboarding. You can really help people and meet them where they are in their user journey. And it really just starts with helping them get to that first quick win so they have a reason to come back to your product again. And the next part is just how can we build habit loops in our product so that people keep coming back to our product. And the last part is the funnest part, in my opinion, and this is all about how can we help people convert to a paying customer. And so if you want access to all of those emails and templates so that you can take your user onboarding to the next level, I highly recommend going to this link, trafficiscurrency.com/user onboarding, which has everything you will need to do just that. And I also want to share a free private community with other product-led growth experts. And so if you are growing a product-led company and you just want to, whether it's vent your frustrations or learn from other people or connect with others who are doing the same thing, I highly recommend checking out this application-only community where you can connect with those sorts of people and also meet me. So if you want to find out more about me, you can find me at Twitter at @WesBush and at Traffic is Currency. And thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.